Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. The headlines. Fresh crisis in Tunisia as protesters call for the release of over 600 arrested persons. Pope Francis appoints Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka into the Pontifical Council for Human Rights, Justice and Development. Kano state government has imposed a fresh ban on viewing and event centers across the state, directs all civil servants to stay at home pending further instructions. I am Kiro Obuli with the details. Tunisian authorities have arrested more than 600 people after a third consecutive night of riots in several cities throughout the North African country. Defense Ministry spokesman Mohamed Zikr said the army had deployed troops in several areas, including Biset in the north, Sousse in the east, and Kasserine and Siliana in central Tunisia.
It was the same story on Monday for the fourth consecutive day of protests across Tunisia as part of growing social and economic crisis in the North African country. Streets were blocked and barricades set on fire as demonstrators clashed with the police. Tunisians are angry at the state of the economy and frustrated that on the 10th anniversary of the uprising that ousted former President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, little seems to have improved. There is also growing frustrations over coronavirus pandemic restrictions.
There's coronavirus, people are dying, and there's the curfew from 4 p.m. We, the people, are the only ones suffering. We don't care about coronavirus or other things. Feed us and find us work.
President Kais Saied visited Ariana, a city near the capital that has also seen protests, and asked people not to let others take advantage of their anger and their poverty.
I know the state of poverty, and I also know who is exploiting your poverty. Don't let anyone exploit your misery. Don't attack private or public property. We live today because of moral values and not because of theft or looting.
Rights group Amnesty International released a statement on Monday calling for the immediate release of all the arrested protesters.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has signed a memorandum of understanding between the Committee of Heads of States and Governments participating in the African Peer Review Mechanism. He restated the commitment of the Nigerian government to the enthronement of democracy and good governance on the African continent. He noted that the government of Nigeria has consistently supported the strengthening of democracy and good governance throughout the African continent through the African Peer Review Mechanism. The president pointed out that they remain fully committed to promoting the good governance practice enshrined in the ideals and visions of the new Partnership for Africa's Development, which gave birth to the new review mechanism. He lauded the progress made so far in the Africa Peer Review Mechanism as a self-monitoring tool to address governance deficits in Africa.
We may recall that Nigeria was first peer reviewed in 2008 and has recorded some accomplishments in the implementation of the National Program of Action. Our administration has continued to vigorously pursue security, economic diversification, and anti-corruption as the main thrust of national change agenda. The totality of this strategy is premised on the promotion of democracy, respect for the rule of law and human rights, gender equality, and by far the largest investment in social change in Nigeria's post-independence history. Nigeria is keen to be joining the League of African Union member states, which will undergo the second peer review exercise. This is a firm demonstration of our belief in the dividends of democracy through this unique peer review system.
President of Benin Republic, Patrice Talon, is in Nigeria and has met with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja. The Beninoid leader, who arrived this Tuesday at the forecourt of the presidential villa at 11:09 a.m., was received by President Buhari. The duo immediately went into a closed-door meeting. It was gathered that Mr. Talon, who last met with the Nigerian leader in June 2019, is in Nigeria to thank Buhari for ordering the reopening of the Nigerian borders in December of 2020. Buhari had in August 2019 ordered the closure of Nigeria's land borders to check smuggling of rice and other foodstuff, as well as small arms and light weapons. The two leaders are also expected to discuss security and bilateral matters, as well as other sub-regional issues. To the states now, the Southern Kaduna's People's Union, Sokapu, says more than 900 million naira has been paid as ransom to bandits and kidnappers by families and communities in Southern Kaduna in 2020. The president of the union, Jonathan Asake, disclosed this at a news conference in Kaduna.
Recounting the ordeals of Nigerians and the people of Southern Kaduna in particular, the president, Southern Kaduna People's Union, Sokapu, Mr. Jonathan Asake, lamented that in the year just gone by, over 900 million naira ransom was paid to bandits and kidnappers.
Let's see, in fact, this is just a very minimal and conservative estimate. In my brother's case, we struggled to pay 4 million naira. I have just announced it today. And Bishop Emmanuel Ego, they paid 4.5 million. And the woman that was kidnapped on her way to Adamawa, she paid 20 million. We found out that over 60 million had been paid within a span of just 2 months. Now we have one route along Kachia, and they have been kidnapping along that place for a very long time.
The Sokapu president noted that not less than 143 communities have been displaced, with over 100,000 individuals affected, hereby calling on government at all levels to initiate plans aimed at protecting lives and property of Nigerians.
And I have challenged anybody, including the government, and anybody that doubts the atrocities, the invasions, the displacements going on in our community, and the humanitarian situation that we are in, that we should form a team that the people are secured with security. Let's go on a fact-finding. Just imagine children being out of school for 4 years. No medication, no organized camp, no food, no shelter.
The Benue State Chairman Action Committee on COVID-19, Benson Borno, says the state has consistently recorded COVID-19 related deaths during the upsurge occasioned by the second wave of the infectious coronavirus. Borno made this known while inaugurating a new judge for the customary court of appeal in Makurdi, the state capital.
The Deputy Governor of Benue State, Mr. Benson Abonu, in administering the oath of office and allegiance to the new judge of the customary court of appeal, expressed confidence to the new judge, whom he described as a woman with wealth of experience in the judicial system.
Let me formally congratulate the newly appointed judge of the customary court of appeal for being found worthy in learning and in character to serve our dear state in this capacity. The Honorable Justice Aleje is an experienced judicial officer who has served in various positions over the years.
In her acceptance speech, the new judge, Justice Elizabeth Aleje, thanked the state for giving her the opportunity to serve. Justice Aleje, who hailed from the Igede community, promised to uphold the good virtues of the community.
And I beg to mention the Igede nation, because of our peculiarities within the state, which is obvious to everybody. They are highly elated.
The deputy governor, who also doubles as the chairman of COVID-19 committee, used the occasion to caution people to be mindful of the safety measures in order to prevent the surge of the second wave of coronavirus pandemic.
And the newly appointed Commissioner of Police in Adamawa State, Aliyu Adamu, has assumed duties. He takes over from Olubenga Adeyanju, who has been promoted to the Assistant Inspector General of Police and posted to head the Zone 3 headquarters, which comprises of Adamawa and Taraba State Police Commands. Shortly on taking over the helms of affairs, the new Commissioner of Police pledged his determination to raid all criminal hideouts in Adamawa State to rid the state of crimes and their perpetrators. He also pledged to work in collaboration with other security agencies in the state to achieve a crime-free society.
We have a tradition of checkmating crime and criminality in the police force. So we are definitely going to engage and adopt that and address it religiously. I have addressed all the management team and the head of departments that we are going to engage in massive rate of criminal hideouts, in a massive raid of all black spots.
Adamu was the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of administration at the Bauchi State Police Command. Taraba State University has made it clear that all COVID-19 protocols will be enforced to ensure safety for students, academic and non-academic staff. The University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Vincent Tenabe, stated this after inspecting facilities put in place to comply with approved safety measures aimed at checking the spread of the killer coronavirus to the university campus. Our correspondent, who was at the campus, reports that full activities or academic activities have resumed.
About 10 months after the closure of the Taraba State University, alongside other government tertiary institutions in the country due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Taraba State University has finally opened again. While on an inspection tour of the school to emphasize the need for compliance with COVID-19 protocols, the University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Vincent Tenembe, says all internal issues will be resolved to ensure that the school does not go on another strike, noting that the institution's curriculum has been adjusted to conveniently cover for the lost months.
We are well prepared to comply with all the protocols of COVID-19. While we were preparing to receive the students, we ensured that the whole campus was cleaned. All the classrooms, all the hostels, offices, they were all thoroughly cleaned and fumigated. We are ensuring that our students will maintain social distance.
Most of the students were eager to be back, as academic activities have begun in most of the classes. Some of the students speak on how they feel to be back to school.
I'm so happy to be back in school, and we have to use hand sanitizers, we have to wear our face masks, and we have started lectures this morning. The lecturers are in school.
Activities have already started in the school, and the school management are really trying with keeping up with the COVID-19 protocol.
The school promised to continue to upload COVID-19 protocols in all its activities.
Pope Francis has appointed the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka, into the Pontifical Council for Human Rights, Justice and Development. This was confirmed in a statement issued this Tuesday by the Director of Social Communications of Sokoto Diocese, Father Chris Omotosho. Omotosho described Bishop Kuka's appointment as a positive development, stating that it will bring about a lot of developments and goodwill to the people of God, especially to Nigerian Catholics. It added that the appointment is renewable and for an initial 5-year period. The council is expected to be formally inaugurated on a later date. The appointment was signed on behalf of the Pope by His Eminence Peter Cardinal Turkson, the prefect of the council. Bishop Kuka has been in the news recently following his Christmas Day message, in which he accused Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari of nepotism and that he has reduced others in public life to second-class status. Individuals, northern Islamic bodies, including Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, Muslim Rights Concern, among others, have since attacked Bishop Kuka. The Muslim Solidarity Forum told the bishop to leave Sokoto, a warning the presidency condemned in an apparent move to douse tension. Now time for a quick break. We'll bring you more reports when we return. Please stay.
Here is the news of cooperation and collaboration on DSTV channel 255 between MITV and Clearview TV. Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a half-hour comprehensive news on DSTV channel 255. On Tuesdays, however, we read the news at 8:30 p.m. Come join us, 7 p.m. on DSTV 255. It's a deal.
You're welcome back and to Kano State now, where the government has imposed a fresh ban on viewing and event centers across the state following an increase in new COVID-19 cases. The State's Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Garba, said the measure is part of decisions taken at a stakeholders meeting held at the African House, Kano. He said all civil servants in the state have also been directed to stay at home pending further instructions. Garba, however, explained that workers on essential services such as the healthcare service providers, fire service, water board, teaching staff, security staff, and the media are exempted from the ban. The Commissioner reaffirmed government's commitment in working with relevant stakeholders, including the ulamas and other Islamic instructors, to ensure compliance with the COVID-19 protocols. The statement also warned that security agents who are part of the stakeholders meeting or were part of the stakeholders meeting would not hesitate to take stern measures to ensure compliance with the directive. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Kano recorded 26 new cases of the virus on Monday. In total, the state has reported 2,617 cases of the novel coronavirus with over 70 deaths. The federal government has released the sum of 10 billion naira to support domestic vaccine production. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Haneri, while speaking on Monday at the briefing by the Presidential Task Force (PTF), said the federal government is working to develop the country's own vaccines. The minister said the government is exploring the measures or the option of local production of the vaccines in the country and have had discussion with a producer. He, however, noted that while the nation seeks to get its own vaccines, other options are being explored for licensed production in collaboration with recognized institutions. Regarding reports of claims by some persons in Nigeria to have COVID-19 vaccines for sale in the country, Dr. Ehanere advised all citizens to disregard the claim. On the foreign scene, the World Health Organization chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has warned rich countries against hoarding COVID-19 vaccine doses while the poorest suffer. Ghebreyesus blasted vaccine manufacturers for chasing regulatory approvals in wealthy nations rather than seeking global approval. Countries around the world stepped up their coronavirus vaccine campaigns, with Russia offering jabs to all citizens, while an independent probe found fault with the early response to the pandemic. Both the World Health Organization (WHO) and Beijing could have acted faster when COVID-19 first surfaced in China a year ago, the Independent Panel for Pandemic Preparedness and Response concluded in a report. It added that countries where the virus was likely to spread should have put containment measures in place immediately. With the global death toll now past 2 million, many governments are betting on mass vaccination to throttle the pandemic while tightening lockdown measures at the same time. Nationwide rollouts for Brazil to Azerbaijan were getting underway. Monday, while Britain and France were widening inoculations to all elderly people. In Russia, the government welcomed all citizens to sign up for the homegrown Sputnik V jab, but while it was widely available in Moscow, many regions reported receiving only between 5,000 and 15,000 doses in the country of 146 million. India's campaign was also facing teething problems as it emerged that almost a third of the 300,000 people invited for a shot on the opening day didn't turn up. Israel, praised for one of the world's fastest rollouts, has secured a significant stock of vaccines partly by pledging to quickly share data on its impact with Pfizer, according to an agreement with the drug company. A Donald Trump supporter suspected of stealing a laptop or hard drive from Democrat Nancy Pelosi's office during the U.S. Capitol riots has been arrested. Riley June Williams, 22, was detained in Pennsylvania on charges of violently and illegally entering the building and disorderly conduct. A former romantic partner had said in an affidavit Ms. Williams intended to sell the data to Russian intelligence. 5 people died after a pro-Trump mob stormed Congress on 6 January. Ms. Williams' case is among more than 200 that have been opened since the president's supporters forced their way into the Capitol building as lawmakers met to confirm Joe Biden's election win. Ms. Williams was arrested on Monday in the Middle District of Pennsylvania. Williams had surrendered herself to authorities. The charge sheet lists knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. It makes no mention of the data allegation. The FBI is reportedly still investigating these claims, which were carried in a sworn statement presented by an FBI agent to the court. The FBI agent in the court filing said the agency was tipped off by a former romantic partner of Ms. Williams, who alleged she had intended to take a laptop or hard drive from the office of Ms. Pelosi, the Democrat Speaker of the House of Representatives. And now to sports.
The Golden Eaglets of Nigeria failed in the defense of their Wafu B tournament after going down to a 3-2 defeat against Cote d'Ivoire in the final fixture on Monday night. The Ivorians took the lead in the 21st minute through Sindo Kone. Charles Lipa nearly added another goal for his side 11 minutes later, but his well-struck shot was saved by Destiny Emuaen. Abdul Mane Konate scored the second goal for Ivory Coast a minute before the hour mark. Substitute Seydou Traoré added the third 6 minutes from time. Ahmed Abdullahi, however, reduced the deficit for the Eaglets with a free kick on the dot of 90 minutes. He went on to score his second of the game deep into stoppage time. Governor Aminu Tambuwa has rewarded players of Sokoto State under 12 and under 15 boys and girls handball teams who won gold and silver medals at the 2020 National Youth Games in Ilorin, Kwara State. The youngsters were handed motorcycles and deep freezers respectively by Governor Tambuwa. The ceremony also witnessed the unveiling of jerseys for Sokoto United FC for the Nigerian National League 2020-2021 season, which kicks off on January 30th. Governor Tambuwa restated his administration's commitment to support athletes from the state in showcasing their talents at the national and international sports events. He added that his government will construct and rehabilitate sporting facilities and infrastructures in the state. 2 Australian Open tennis players have tested positive for COVID-19 after arriving in the city of Melbourne amid controversies over the event. Over 1,000 people, including players, staff, and officials, have flown into Australia for the event, which begins on February 8th. Some players have expressed frustration after being confined to hotel rooms full-time, while other rivals are not. Positive cases on 3 flights have forced 72 players into full quarantine, meaning they have to isolate full-time in their hotel rooms for 14 days instead of being allowed outside to train like other participants. The move has angered some players and led world number 1 Novak Djokovic to lobby authorities to relax quarantine rules for players.
that's all on the news, but before we go, a quick recap of our main stories. Tunisian authorities have arrested more than 600 people after a third consecutive night of riots in several cities throughout the North African country. Defense Ministry spokesman Mohamed Zikr said the army has deployed troops in several areas, including Berset in the north, Sousse in the east, and Kasserine and Saliana in central Tunisia. Pope Francis has named the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka, as a member of the Pontifical Council for Human Rights, Justice and Development. The appointment was signed on behalf of the Pope by His Eminence Peter Cardinal Turkson, the prefect of the Vatican Council. And Kano state government has imposed a fresh ban on viewing and event centers across the state following an increase in new COVID-19 cases. The State Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Garba, who announced the ban, also directed all civil servants in the state to stay at home pending further instructions. Now remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. You can like us on Facebook at Clearview Television. Follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG, and finally on Twitter at Clearview Online. I am Nkiru Obuli. Thank you for watching.